Recording is now in progress. Namo Om Vishnu Bhataya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale. Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane. Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pachaline. Nevasisha Sunyavadi Pashtatat Satanane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, so we're picking up from the last 2 pages of the chapter, which is entitled Cultivating Vipralambha. So hopefully we all know what Vipralambha is, the meaning of the word. Yes, separation. Yes, separation from Krishna. Something we have to, and what we're learning in our reading, it's something, what we're learning is that we do have to learn. We have to learn to feel separation from Krishna. Yeah. So we're on page 712, Mother Chandravali, if you have the book.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has the book, Sachari Mother. Probably not. You don't have the book with you, probably not. Quite a big book to carry around. Yeah, I carry it.
I don't. Yeah.
You
I don't have it.
Yeah, I carry it with me.
Oh, Haribol, you are here. Ah, Chai.
Over 2B125 FU is also here. Hare Krishna.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
let's fight the Taimata.
Oh, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. All right, so I'll begin reading. I'll probably share it out Mother Chandravali as well, if my voice gets a bit hoarse. Okay. So Marge is asking a hypothetical question, so we'll just go back and that. So the answer, since conditioning by the modes of nature subdues pure emotions, what does it take to cry for Krishna? Right. So how can we cry for Krishna? So Marge answers, the key to jumpstart the process is to hear pastimes in which emotion is prominent, in which Vipralambha is prominent. Okay, so we hear the senior Vaishnavas crying in their words and in the pastimes, and it has its tatbhava effect. Yeah, it will affect us in some way. Yeah.
Can I tell you about materially speaking?
Yeah.
You know, when we were younger and you watch films, especially Indian films.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I haven't watched for many years, but you get emotional, right?
Yeah. Marge mentioned that before. We read that before. It's the exact same principle. Exact same principle. Okay, it may be a shadow of the real thing. We are kind of tuning into the mood of great Vaishnavas, but that bhava, that feeling that we experience will help to manifest our own specific feelings of separation from Krishna. Marge gave the example, just like if you take a burning stick from a hearth, you know, and you take that fiery stick and you put it in another hearth with wood, then that hearth also catches fire. So when we hear Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, pastimes in Krishna book, separation, etc., then it's like, you know, we can also kindle that fire of feeling can also be kindled. Yeah. So
I just thought of the book, how Raghunath Das Goswami feels separation from Sanatan Goswami when he left.
yeah. Which book is that? Which?
Maharaj's volume 1.
Okay, yeah. And there's particular books by the Goswamis which really emphasize, which really pull on the heartstrings as far as feelings of separation. Or one of them by Shiva Ram Swami Maharaj is called Krishna Sangati. that's specifically dedicated to Krishna's coming to Vrindavan, leaving Vrindavan, coming to Vrindavan, leaving Vrindavan, coming to Vrindavan, leaving Vrindavan, and he explains all the emotions that the residents of Raj feel and the residents of Krishna feels himself. If you're interested more, there's a book called The Hamsadutta, which is a very beautiful poetic, I think it was by Rupa Goswami. And it's a prayer that's given by Lalita on behalf of Radharani to a great swan, to a great, very intelligent swan that then flies over to Dwarka to give Krishna this heartfelt message from Radharani. It's called Hamsadutta. It's only a small book. It's not a large book. It's nice. That's another one. Another one is Uddhava Sandesh. That's another book, Uddhava Sandesh, like the message given to Uddhava. And like that. Okay. So
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have
yes.
2 questions.
Yes.
No, one is, so Prabhu is saying sometimes like, you know, everybody is unique, everybody having different, so being emotions, like are used, because Krishna consciousness is very much connected with emotions, of course, based on philosophy, not otherwise. Yeah. So are you saying, Prabhu, these emotions will help? Whatever emotions that we have, if we really made them towards with the philosophy, these emotions would help in our spiritual lives.
Would help. They're absolutely vital. There's Chester Rupa and the Baba Rupa. What's the point of spiritual life if we don't feel emotion? We're actually supposed to feel emotion. And as you correctly said, it should be based on the philosophical basis. It shouldn't be, we're not trying to be sahajas here. Sahajas here. Let's be clear on that. We're not trying to make out we're something we're not, and kind of put on the show.
No.
But this is what we're speaking about, of these emotions, etc. This will be an internal affair with the devotee. And even if we do experience these emotions, which may lead to tears, it's something that we don't make a public exhibition of. That's the etiquette of the Rupa, of the line of Rupa Goswami, and that distinguishes the Vaishnava from the cheap imitation of these sahajas. So
it's something like, you don't want to cry in public. It's shying, It's something. It goes with that also, isn't it? Otherwise, we are just making a show out of it.
Yeah, because if you are, because if you do that, because it's in one sense it's these emotions, or Krishna, in that sense, it's making, I could say, an offense. So therefore, what you have will actually disappear.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I ask that when you finish? Like chanting with emotions, and you saying about crying, how do you distinguish whether are you being sentimental or it's real?
Well, if you've been chanting, if you've been practicing Krishna consciousness sincerely for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or whatever, then it's not sentiment.
Okay.
It's not sentiment.
I heard something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not sentiment. Why should it be?
And
also
the other one, Prabhu, sorry. If someone is like, okay, it's not only Krishna and Radharani pastimes. Krishna with Gopa, all those pastimes. It's all the same. Is that right?
Well, it's all Krishna's pastimes, but specifically the moods of Vipalamba is expressed by the Gopas. No doubt, it's expressed by Madhya Soda. It's expressed by Nanda Maharaj. but it takes its abdomen and its highest degree of intensity with the gopis, with Mathura ras, and especially Radharani. So in other words, on a objective observation, then although it's all love for Krishna, it is understood that Radharani has the highest degree of love for Krishna and the gopis respectively. So their feelings of separation are to be noted as being the most, you could say, the most intense. And that's the feelings of our Goswamis, because they are Manjaris, they are gopis mainly. So that's more what they write about. They actually write about they write about separation in the mood of the gopis. It just so happens that's what we have most of, because that's the mood of our acharyas.
Prabhu, how about like if like we pray to Panchatattva because they are the saviors of this Kali Yuga. So, how could we bring Panchatattva into this picture?
Well, this chapter was described. We started these chapters. The part we're speaking at the moment is Gauranga and Ripalamba Seva. We did a whole chapter on that. Yeah. So Gauranga, he is the personification of and the highest person to he is in the mood of Radharani. He is in the mood of Radharani feeling separation from Krishna. So he plays more than a big part. It is a major aspect of our Siddhanta and our development of Krishna consciousness is the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And he's showing us how to feel separation. And they are showing us, they are acting out as sadhakas and showing us how to cry for Krishna. So it's very relevant. Without that, then we won't really be able to enter into the real mood of Ripalamba unless we worship and meditate upon Lord Chaitanya. Yeah?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay, start reading. It's okay, everyone? Okay. When Nam Bhajan is done with remembrance of those pastimes, the holy name cultivates those feelings and enables the sadhaka to gradually appropriate them as his own. Okay, so Nam Bhajan chanting, which is accompanied with smaran of those pastimes, enables the sadhaka to gradually appropriate them as his own. Okay, this process of sharing the emotion of others is made possible in two ways. It says, by hearing of Krishna's potencies or by hearing of his pastimes. Okay. If a devotee is not yet attracted to hearing Krishna's pastimes, then studying how the Lord manifests his potencies in the world is a way to develop attachment to and separation from him. Okay. A sadhaka can very easily lament that while Krishna is everywhere, he remains hidden by the coverings of Maya. All right, so that's what it means by hearing of his potencies. Yeah, we happen to be in the thick of his external potency. Just in case you hadn't noticed. Yeah. So in that sense, we are in a world which is covered by matter, which is matter and covered by unlimited layers of the different elements. And we've been in different bodies, birth after birth, and we've accumulated unlimited desires. And in that way, we're separated from Krishna. So that's what Maharaj means by understanding the potencies, of understanding where we are and where we want to be. There are many passages in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita that describe manifestation of the Lord's potencies in this world. Being conscious of them naturally awakens devotional separation in a regulated devotee. Krishna emphatically declares, and he quotes from Bhagavad Gita, Etam vibhutim yogam cha mam yo vatitat vataha shavikalpena yogena yujjatena tashamshayaha. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. Any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. However, hearing of the feelings of separation expressed in Shishastaka, the songs of the Acharyas, the pastimes of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the pastimes of Sri Krishna, is a more direct and effective way, right, to acquire this small technique of learning to cry after the Lord. Yeah, actually, my Guru Maharaj, Shivaram Swami Maharaj, when he wrote Krishna Sangati, I think he did a few classes in it. He said, this is a book to be read with a box of tissues by your side. To be read, you have some tissues at hand. Yeah, so the main direct way is to hear the Leela and pastimes, to hear Shishastaka, songs of the Acharyas, and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On sharing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feelings of separation, Srila Prabhupada emphasized embracing feelings of both worthlessness and disqualification as the foundation for service with emotion. In the same breath, he would encourage devotees to trust in Krishna's kindness and remain determined in their devotion. Yeah. What qualification do I have? Still, I cannot give up Krishna consciousness. That is wanted. Actually, we was praying in one of the classes today. One of the classes today was the values and attitudes of a Bajari. You know, behavior, values, attitudes, lifestyle of purity. And one of the classes is that we play a lecture of Prabhupada, where he's actually at one point in the lecture, he actually breaks down. He speaks about Sanatana Goswami and what's the name of Sanatana Goswami's deity? And the deity, he just used to give Madan Mohan, is it? Who?
Yeah, Madan Mohan.
Yeah, just used to give Madan Mohan just some dry chapatis. And then so Madan Mohan complained. He said, at least can you give me a bit of salt? And Prabhupada's expressing the story, and he says, but Sanat Goswami says, what can I do, old man? You have to accept, you know. So then Prabhupada's appreciating how Krishna is accepting that because of devotion. Yeah. And then Prabhupada expresses that we should come before Radharani. We come, please accept this. Please accept this offering. I have nothing else to give. And as Prabhupada's saying it, then he breaks down in tears. You know, it's quite powerful. Yes. Why did I bring that up? Okay. Yeah, feeling worthless. That's it. Feeling worthless. And then the way Prabhupada expresses himself is so humble. It's like heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, Prabhupada's humility, where he enunciates just bringing something to Radharani. Although he is so rotten, he has nothing to offer. But please, can you accept my humble offering? And then Prabhupada starts crying. You know, so this worthlessness. One time, Jayadvaita Swami gave a series of classes, a little seminar on this at Radhadesh many years ago. How to feel bad about yourself. Because at the time, a lot of the leaders in ISKCON, some were becoming quite enamored by this Mr. Covey, you know, about this principle, this materialistic management principle of feeling good about yourself, that you can conquer the world and you should be like this and you should be, you know, these qualities that are glorified in the material world. You should stand upright, you know. That was the mood. So Maharaj had this seminar, how to feel bad about yourself. He was going directly against this kind of mood, which was being, which some devotees were preaching.
I was thinking, Prabhu, I think we should bring every year this talk.
Yeah.
It will be
And
good
basically,
for myself.
basically Maharaj was quoting these type of, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the great heartfelt humility of Haridas Thakur and other devotees. Right. The songs of Narad. Sorry?
That's genuine, like Haridas Thakur, and that's genuine. But devotees sometimes say, oh, I'm so full, I am so this, I'm so that. I was listening to Burijan Prabhu today, class.
What was it saying?
And he was saying, like, you know, we want Krishna's mercy, right? But by just being standing there or going on about, like, I'm so full and I'm conditioned, I'm this, I'm that all the time, that's just emotional, you know?
Yeah. So, mainly, you find that devotees, that advanced devotees, they carry this depth of humility deep within their heart. So they don't go around saying, I'm so fallen, I'm so fallen. You know, you don't see that from Shiva Raj, you don't see that from Bhakti Vikash, you don't see that from going everywhere and everywhere. But they are, and it comes out naturally. And that reminds us of where that famous pastime where one devotee gets up and says, Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen.
Yes.
And what did Prabhupada say?
You are most nothing.
Yeah, you are not the most anything. So thank you for bringing that out, Chandrali. We have to be real. We have to be real persons. We shouldn't be artificial persons. Yeah.
Prabhu, our humble humility comes out when you are put into test, when you are challenged. That's the time you will really know whether you are humble or not.
Yeah, and that's Krishna's blessings. He puts us into situations which we cannot deal with, which we cannot understand, which we cannot fathom, and we feel lost. So there's no other scope but to understand our smallness and to cry to the Lord. Yeah. So it's Krishna's mercy.
What if we are in a position, and how can I say it? So we like trying to prove that I am this, I am that.
You're saying what if
we are in a position, but we are putting through to people that I am in this position. I am. You do what I tell you to do. That's how does that work? Like humility work?
Well, say, I don't know. You might be speaking of a specific circumstance, but generally it does not work. That's not the mood of a Vaishnava. Although some Vaishnavas have the service of managing Vaishnavas. Yeah, some Vaishnavas have the service of managing Vaishnavas or managing projects. So they may have to kind of play that role. Yeah, just like the guru has to play that role. He has to play the role, and it should be seen that the disciples are treating him as they should be. Like the other day, we was having a reading with my Guru Maharaj, and there was one lady, Mataji, she had just arrived, and she was in the room there, and so my Guru Maharaj was welcoming her, but he didn't see her pay her obeisances. So he told her, why don't you pay your obeisances? And so she did it. And it was quite nice because she did it and she put his head on his feet, you know. Basically, he asked her to do that because that's what she should have done as a disciple. She should pay obeisances. So he questioned it. So sometimes Vaishnavas are in that position where they do have to, act that way. But it takes a lot of advancement to actually takes a certain depth of advancement. don't know if that answered your question, Mother Chandra. I think you're thinking of a specific incident. So I'm giving a general answer.
Yeah. No. Actually, because what you're saying about your Guru Maharaj saying paying obeisance, I heard in that in one of those question answer, the Shakti one, and he says, well, why didn't you bring me a garland? So it's learning, a lot of learning. Yeah, it's learning. You go to see your guru or somebody, you would just take something, a fruit or a garland or something, like etiquette, etiquette.
Yeah.
It's learning.
And that's humility, bowing at the Guru's feet, All right. The songs of Narottam Das Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur are especially rich in expressions of separation. Singing and meditating on these songs are wonderful ways to voice and feel the Rupalamba of liberated souls. Okay. Such practices quickly scatter seeds of spiritual emotion within the heart of a sadhaka, and with further watering and careful tending, manifest that yearning after Krishna. All right. So you feel the emotions and you carefully, keep that within your heart and watering it and tending it. We can eventually feel the same. Those prayers of great devotees that are filled with longing for eternal service are also effective means to awaken feelings of separation. A sadhaka will repeat and even memorize certain prayers with which he identifies and thus be blessed by the moods of his predecessors. And there's one famous verse, it's Aitina Tiyato Nata He Mathura Nata Kavda Lokshashi Hritayam Tata Lokakadaram Brahmite Dayati Brahmiti Kim Karomi Aham. You know this verse? It's a verse by Madhavendra Puri. Yeah, it's Radharani expressing her feeling of separation to Krishna when he's left for Mathura. And she's saying, what shall I do now? And he was chanting that verse at the end of his life.
That's why I had it.
Yeah. And this verse, it said it's considered that just by speaking this verse, then it unlocks the feelings of Ripalamba Bhav. Yeah.
I was thinking that we having like this 24-hour kirtan melas and that.
6 hours, 24 hours.
Yeah, well, but in early times when I first joined, we used to sing all these bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur and separation bhajans. I mean, nicely like that. And now those bhajans are not kind of sung so much now.
Yeah, it is like that. Depends on. I remember when Damodar was temple president.
Yeah,
he was really into these bhajans, and he even brought over a couple of Bengalis to our temple just to sing these bhajans. Yeah, what we can do amongst our sangha, amongst your specific sangha, it can be done. I mean, I admit it's not so common. You don't hear it. Here in Mayapur, you hear quite a bit. Yeah, during the day in the temple room, you hear all the songs that. Yeah, so I tend to hear more here in Mayapur. I've heard a bit more. Yeah, and in the mornings for daily greetings. Yes, isn't it?
Yeah, always bhajans when the lordships are having their Raj Bhoga, then always bhajans.
Bhajabhakata Vatsala Shikora.
Yeah,
So it's still there, but I have to admit, it was more so in our temple, specifically in Soho, in London. It used to be more than what it is now.
And Amoghaleela Prabhu, Apura Shakti Mataji's husband, he giving the Raj Bhoga, he comes up and he sings it bhajan every Friday.
Yeah, I used to do the same as well. Yeah, I used to do the same.
Yeah,
nice.
That's nice.
And harmonium. Yeah. And during COVID, when everyone was locked out, I sang all the songs of Narottam Das Thakur in the temple room. in my own unprofessional way. I sang all 74 songs of Pratana. It was so nice, you know, it was really good. Wasn't so professionally sung, but so you can sing yourself, you know, you can sing yourself if you like. It's not the same. All right. Okay, so the following is an example of a prayer that spontaneous devotees will covet. Okay, I'll just read the translation. Oh Goddess, kindly hear this unfortunate person now drowning in an ocean of pain. Place him on the sturdy boat of your mercy and ferry him to the wonderful realm of your lotus feet. All right, there's even something called, we've spoke about it, it's called mantra upasana. It's where someone's bhajan, someone's chanting, then they're meditating on verses. Yeah, they're meditating on a verse like this. They meditate on the meaning while they're chanting. It's called mantra upasana. Yeah. That takes, you know, your chanting should be developed, it should be steady, and it should be, you know. Sharing emotion-rich songs and prayers are part of the aforementioned direct way of awakening feelings of separation by hearing of Krishna's pastimes. Hearing these pastimes and reciting their verses not only endows the devotee with feelings of separation, but also gives him relief from Krishna's absence, and so are sources of much needed enthusiasm for sadhana. A wonderful example of such verses is the concluding portion of Brihat Bhagavatamrita, which we are coming up to in our readings, which are experts from Brahma Samhita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Because these verses assuage the pain of separation from Krishna and his devotees, they are known as Rashayana, or the medicinal tonic for the ears and heart of a sadhaka. Some Vaishnavas recite them daily, and in that way they memorize them. Then by repeating those verses, they are able to taste the nectar of devotion. Right? So it can be just like those who have Gayatri, because we chant it every day, then we soon remember it, isn't it? So same. So devotees, that's what I, after some time, devotees will have their own specific sadhana. They may introduce specific prayers, and I'm sure some of you do. Introduce specific prayers that they recite on a daily basis as part of their sadhana. So that's something that we should do and can do. You know? All right, so that ends chapter 35. Now we're going into chapter 36. And this is called the perfection of separation. Right? So we thought we've heard everything about separation as a whole another chapter. And this is going to be
separation, a perfection of separation.
Yeah, now we're going to hear about Radha and the gopis' feelings of separation, just looking forward, yeah. Okay. Okay, the perfection of separation, chapter 36. Thakur Bhaktivinoda suggests that devotees hear two kinds of pastimes to awaken and nurture feelings of separation. Okay, I just heard this today, actually. Pastimes of separation prior to meeting. Right? So they haven't even met Krishna, but they're feeling separation from him. And that's us. Yeah. And this is called Purvarag. Yeah. So prior to meeting Krishna and these pastimes in which Krishna has left his devotees. Okay, so he's appeared and he's left. That's called Pravasha. So Purvarag and Pravasha. Verses describing these pastimes and how Radrasis feel in these situations are especially favorable for a devotee's bhajan. There's another one as well. Marge probably mentioned it. Let's have a look. Doesn't seem to mention it here. Prema Vaichitta. That's where Radha and Krishna are together, but somehow or another, sometimes Radharani thinks that Krishna's left, as though he's right by her side. There's a nice pastime in Venu Gita that describes that. So she starts crying and yeah, it's a wonderful pastime. That's called Prema Vaichitta. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Verses describing these pastimes and how Rajasis feel in these situations are especially favorable for devotees' bhajan. When the sadhaka studies and learns these verses, they become a stimulus for deep meditation in Nam Bhajan, okay, in chanting or kirtan, enabling a practitioner to experience the moods of perfected devotees. The pastimes of purvarag or attachment for meeting are especially relevant to a sadhaka. The reason for this is that the practitioner shares the circumstances of Krishna's associates. He too has not met Krishna. Does anyone know there's a specific devotee in the Krishna book which is glorified for this purvarag? It's a she, it's a queen.
Kunti?
Kunti, no. She sent a letter via a Brahmin.
Rukmini.
Rukmini, yes. Rukmini, yeah. She hadn't met Krishna, but she heard about Krishna from Narada Muni and other sages. And just by that Shravanam, just by hearing that Kirtanam, she entered her heart and she developed then a love, although she never met him personally. And then she was going to be betrothed to who was it? She betrothed to Jarasandha, was it?
Shishupal.
Shishupal, yeah. And she wasn't she didn't want anything to do with that. She wanted Krishna and the whole wonderful pastime. And her prayers specifically, it might even be heard here. We might hear it in this chapter. Okay. Rupa Goswami defines this condition of separation in this way, quote, when attachment produced in a lover and beloved before their meeting by seeing, hearing, and so on becomes very palatable by a mixture of 4 ingredients, such as vibhava, anubhava, this is called purvarag. Okay. Something is inconceivable, so Radha and Krishna, their lila is eternal. There is no time, so no past, no present. So Radharani feels there's a pastime where Radharani has never met Krishna. You know, it's inconceivable. Yeah, and one time she's feeling. I think one time she can hear the flute. She becomes attracted to this flute of Krishna. Then she hearing descriptions about him, she becomes attracted to that. Then she becomes attracted to a picture, and she doesn't know it's all the same person. And she begins to condemn herself. I'm supposed to be chaste to my husband. I'm attracted to 3 different men.
Yeah.
It turns out it's all the same person. It's Krishna.
That's also a pastime with Krishna's one of the sons, and I don't know, was it Duryodhana's daughter or somebody had a picture of the son, and well, the maidservant drew the picture what she was imagining.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean,
Yeah, Saint Krishna, but then she by her mystic potency, she transports him to her ashram.
Yes.
Yeah, Krishna Samba or something. All right. A sadhaka does not have the ingredients of love mentioned above. Okay. But like the lover, he has not had the good fortune of meeting Krishna. And like the lover, he has developed a degree of attachment for the Lord. These comparable characteristics enable a sadhaka to closely identify with expressions of separation from Krishna and make them his own. In a way, a practitioner in a way, a practitioner's adopted feelings may be called the shadow, a bus of Purvarag. Right, so it's not, we don't have fully spiritualized senses. So therefore, what we experience in that regard, it's a shadow, but still it's a shadow of the real things. So it's good for us. Yeah, a bus, it's an bus. For example, before Srimati Radharani met Krishna in person, okay, here's that thing I just said, but it's going to be described now much better. She had heard that there was a Gopa in Raj by the name Krishna. The two syllables of that name acted on her just like a mantra by which the Vashiti yogis bring others under their control. Her mind hopelessly captivated. Her tongue constantly echoed the name Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Right, so she just heard that sound. Then one day, while fetching water from the Yamuna, Radha heard some flute music. It was not ordinary flute music, but the kind by which snake charmers bring serpents under their control. Radha felt her mind slackened and her senses charmed by the melodies coming from an unidentified person in an unidentified place. On another day, Radha saw the picture of a very beautiful youth with a dusky complexion, captivating smile and roaming eyes. While looking at that picture, Radha felt Cupid's influence enter her heart and gradually spread a nectarian poison throughout her being. In this way, the picture awakened passionate thoughts that she had never known before. As a newly wedded bride, Srimati Radharani was perplexed, unaware that Krishna, the flute player, and the person in the picture were one and the same. She thought that not only she had become unfaithful, but that she had become attracted to 3 paramours at once. How immoral, she thought. Taking the leader into confidence, Radha revealed her dilemma. Okay, here's the verse. Quote, since I have heard the name of a person called Krishna, I practically lost my good sense. Then there is another person who plays his flute in such a way that after I hear the vibration, intense madness arises in my heart. And again, there is still another person to whom my mind becomes attached when I see his beautiful lightning like effulgence in his picture. Therefore, I think I am greatly condemned, for I have become simultaneously attached to 3 persons. It would be better for me to die because of this. Right. Unquote. When a sadhaka will not exhibit the loving bewilderment of Srimati Radharani, while a sadhaka will not exhibit the loving bewilderments of Srimati Radharani, he will share attraction to Krishna's name, flute playing, and form. And he too is yet to meet Krishna. Therefore, he can identify with Radha's separation. Mounting the chariot of her words, he can travel to the domain of her Ripalamba, and there collect keepsakes of separation to recall in Smaran. That's nicely, isn't it? Let me read that again, quite poetic. Okay. Mounting the chariot of her words, he can travel to the domain of her Ripalamba, and there collect keepsakes of separation to recall in Smaran. Don't you understand what's been described here?
The whole thing, just that line contains everything. Separation, Marana, everything in that.
Bhava, yeah. Sharing, hearing and sharing to at least even if it's shadow, sharing this mood of Radharani. And as a keepsake, take a picture of that emotion within your heart. And during your Shmaran, you can try and gently bring it to mind. Yeah. Not by force. Then. In their books glorifying Krishna and his pastimes, Vaishnavas have often included episodes of Purvarag, in that way giving an opportunity for the readers to advance in feelings of separation. One extensive narration of Purvarag in Srimad Bhagavatam is the Venu Gita. In this chapter, the gopis who have who have as yet not met Krishna indirectly glorify him by speaking about this flute and the effect that this music has on Vrindavan. And another famous passage is Rukmini Devi's letter to Krishna, in which she pleads with him to kidnap and marry her. Vaishnavas read, memorize, and sing verses from these episodes, and in that way nourish their spiritual emotions. Yeah. This is a specific type of sadhana, yeah, that one does in order to nourish their attachment to Krishna. Yeah. They read to remember. They read Krishna's pastimes for smaran while chanting. Yeah. Readers may think that because Purva Raga is based on Krishna's amorous dealings, it is relevant only for devotees attracted to Madhurya Bhav. While the separation of Purva Raga is fully relevant to devotees who follow the gopis or queens, it is still relevant to devotees of all spiritual disposition. Now, the reason is that conjugal love contains the sentiments of all other mellows, and thus devotees who appreciate its feelings of Vripalamba will find nourishment for their own kind of eternal service. After all, Vaishnavas of all dispositions meditate on the Shishastaka prayers, which are spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Sri Radha. Moreover, becoming attracted to Krishna before meeting him is possible in every mellow. In Krishna's earthly pastimes, his association with his servants, friends, seniors, and lovers unfolds over time and generally begins with separation, develops into meeting, and concludes in separation. In any case, devotees who hear systematically following the path of Krama Shruta Shravana Das will not neglect important passages describing Purva Raga. The second kind of pastime recommended by Thakur Bhaktivinoda are those in the category of pravasha, where Krishna leaves his associates. Rupa Goswami defines this separation as follows, quote, pravasha is a word used to indicate the separation of lovers who were previously intimately associated. This separation is due to their being in different places. The difference between Purva Raga and Pravasha is that in the latter, devotees have already met Krishna. Clearly, this kind of separation is generic over all mellows. Kaviraj Goswami cites a very important verse for devotees who are serious about cultivating loving separation. It was spoken by the Acharya Madhavendra Puri on his deathbed. I just mentioned this. Ayidina Dayatro Nata He Mathura Nata Kavada Lokshashe Hritayam Tot Aloka Kataram Dayati Brahmiti Kim Karomi Aham. So Dayati, yeah, means low. Karomi, what shall I do? The translation, O my Lord, O most merciful Master, O Master Mathura, Mathura Nata, yeah. When shall I see you again? Because of my not seeing you, my agitated heart has become unsteady. O most beloved one, what shall I do now? Karomi aham. Kim means what? What shall I do? Yeah. And he had one foolish disciple, isn't it, Madhavendra Puri?
Yes.
He said, Maharaj, why are you lamenting so much?
Yes.
Just think of Brahman.
Yeah.
The spiritual master said, get out. I don't want to see your face again. If I die looking at you, get out of here.
See, this translation, it just shows Madhavendra Puri in that Mahabhav, you know.
Yeah. So it's a good verse to go over your mind, just to associate with that mood in this verse, you know. Yeah. Now these words were originally spoken by Srimati Radharani upon Krishna's departure for Mathura And it was Madhavendra Puri who made her feelings known to the world. Yes, that's the, as we know, the important role of Madhavendra Puri in Adislipa succession. The seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. We have discussed at length how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught his followers how to cultivate chanting in separation. It seems that the teachings of Madhavendra Puri summarized in this verse are the seed of Gauranga's line of devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received these teachings from his guru, Ishvara Puri. And so we have continued to receive it through the Gaudiya Parampara. Kaviraj Goswami makes a similar comment on the poetry of Madhavendra Puri. He writes, quote, in this verse, Madhavendra Puri teaches how to achieve ecstatic love for Krishna. By feeling separation from Krishna, one becomes spiritually situated. Unquote. Krishna's departure for Mathura is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as in the pathos of the residents, as is the pathos of the residents of Raj. When the gopis heard the proclamation from Nanda Maharaj that Krishna and Balaram would leave with Akura, they were heartbroken. In a state of confusion, they abandoned all feminine reserve and publicly disclosed their feelings in verses like this. So this was the first time that the gopis unabashedly showed their loving affection and an attachment to Krishna in a public. Yeah? So know that heart-wrenching scene where they're grabbing the chariot, where Akura is taking Krishna and Balaram away. Yeah? That's described in Krishna Sangati in great and beautiful detail. Mavi Yasoda, when she heard the word Krishna's going, she just couldn't believe that she heard that sound vibration. And then she was trying to hide Krishna behind the curtain when they came to finally go. But the persons who felt the most heartbreak in the most intense way were the gopis, because of the extent of their loving affection for Krishna. Yeah. So I'm sure we're familiar with that pastime in the 10th canto. So here's one verse from that part. The gopis said, "Oh Providence, you have no mercy. You bring embodied creatures together in friendship and love, and then senselessly separate them before they fulfill their desires. This whimsical play of yours is like a child's game." Unquote. Yeah. As always, Sukadeva Goswami did not directly describe Srimati Radharani's plight. There's that, Radharani speaking with a B as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Speaks in madness. However, others like Rupa Goswami in books like the Lalita Madhava and Hamsadutta, I mentioned that, thoroughly describe the sorrow and madness that Radha experienced upon Krishna's departure from Vrindavan. This verse of Madhavendra Puri encapsulates the intensity of Radha's separation, and therefore Gaudiya Vaishnavas constantly keep it on their tongues. Okay. Knowing well its spiritual, keep it on their tongues, knowing well its spiritual significance. By remembering this verse, devotees can connect with the Vripalamba of Sri Radhas according to their spiritual qualification. Through Madhavendra Puri, Srimati Radharani teaches the world how Krishna is loved in separation. Even the uninformed reader can recognize that service in separation is the central theme of Radha's appeal. Calling Krishna Dina Dayatra Anata, or the compassionate master of the poor and neglected. Okay, so Dina Dayatra, you are the friend of the poor. You're a friend of those who are neglected. Yeah, Dina Dayatra reflects the foundational feelings of worthlessness, disqualification, and determination explained in the previous section. Srila Prabhupada repeatedly emphasizes that a Zora devotee feels himself helpless and neglected by Krishna. Still, he remains the only hope and shelter. This kind of thinking, followed by a corresponding feeling, leads to the highest emotional ecstasy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always reveled in these expressions of exalted love in separation. Okay, Hari Om, that's that.
I'll
Right.
keep one quick.
Yeah, we've come to an end of a section, so we'll stop there.
Yeah.
Any comments or questions on this? Something to meditate upon, a few verses to learn, for those that are so inspired, a few books to read, should you be so inspired, and some means and ways how to feel these feelings of separation by hearing from devotees, meditating upon these pastimes, Rukmini, Purvarag. Yeah. All right. So Wednesday should be okay. I just say it might be at this time. For this week, it's going to be because this week, these next 2 weeks, or at least this week, definitely. Yeah, actually, next 2 weeks. Just play it by ear. We just might have to shift it till 7 and 8. I hope. Oh, for you, what time would that be? Like today?
Have 12.
1:30.
Yeah. Anyway, we're
We like,
yeah,
I
we should-
like this time actually.
Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone, for tuning into this quite wonderful reading and what we're hearing about. Quite deep levels of Krishna consciousness we're trying to understand. But wonderful. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Murli Mahaprabhu ki
Shri Radha
jai.
Vandana Swada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Devanande.